Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking around for the first half hour of the second. So we've set it all up. We've set the table with our fine china and our cloth napkins and our bottle of the finest Cabernet that you would ever want to get to. And then we're gonna with the set of all these questions, because I think Lester holds a class act. I think he did a really good job. Now we're gonna get the meat and potatoes thing, and on all over our nice linen tablecloth, we're going to get into these messy ribs of what these answers were. Because I gotta say, boy, oh boy, the early going with the taxes and the trade stuff, you could tell that was where Trump was comfortable, because getting after that. And hitting Hillary over and over again with NAFTA that's what has catapulted him to, well, in part, to where he is. And he exposed the one time that I think that Hillary was really caught. And actually, before we get any further, I want to talk about what's a lie really quick and what isn't, and just so we can set the parameters for this. When you say that Ford is moving its operation to Mexico, its small car division to Mexico, and Ford is saying we're not doing that. We had no intention of doing that. That's a lie. You're telling a lie right there. When you say that you didn't say TPP was the gold standard when you did, that's a lie. However, when you come out and say my jobs proposal will create 10 million new jobs, Don, and yours will lose us 3.5 million, that's not a lie. That's an argument over a policy prediction. And so all these Republicans that came out, I've seen it everywhere. I saw Laura Ingraham posted an article to something, and Glenn Beck, or the GOP, posted Hillary's top 5 lies. Almost all, I think all 5 of them in that article were just arguing about her policy projections, which you can't call those lies. She's making a campaign promise that has been scored by somebody, and that's what they're going with. Donald Trump does the same. Every presidential candidate does the same thing. It's not lying. It's just campaigning. But Donald Trump was very comfortable in that TPP talk, in the NAFTA talk, and he was speaking, and you could tell he was really trying to keep onto it, speaking directly to Michigan, Indiana, who he doesn't need, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, saying, look at all this stuff. The problem he's going to have there, I think, is that especially Michigan is seeing a resurgence, and they've got a Democratic governor that is really pounding the pavement for Hillary Clinton. I don't think he's going to get any traction there. Pennsylvania... Boy, I don't know. I mean, Pennsylvania to Republicans is like Missouri to Democrats. Every 4 years, it looks like it's in play, but it just isn't. Ohio is more interesting, and Ohio and the Ohio folks, they're the folks that really take that NAFTA stuff to heart. For Trump, though, all of those anti-NAFTA voters, all those folks that were Democrats that hate Bill Clinton for NAFTA, regardless of what it maybe did countrywide, they left the party 25 years ago. Like those lunch pail Democrats have been voting Republican since George Bush, and since the second Clinton term. So I don't know that it gained him anything. What do you think about that?
Well, I think keep in mind that we've talked about this. Trump is polled consistently. He is consistently in the 40 to 45% range, all the way up to now. And I think what he's doing is he's trying to solidify his base even more. He's trying to bring out the closet Trump supporters, which I didn't really realize this until this weekend. There are a ton of people who would like to vote for Trump, but are not necessarily embarrassed, but they don't want the problems associated with supporting Trump, which is a sad commentary in and of itself, right? In many ways. And so I think that you're correct in the analysis that a lot of these people that were Democrat that would vote for Donald Trump have already left the party. I agree with that. However, there is a young millennial generation that appears to be supporting the outside candidate. And in this case, and a good example of this is Gary Johnson's running. We'll just throw this guy. Yeah. And it appears from the polls that I've been watching the last 2 weeks that even though when you add Johnson, Trump falls a little bit, doesn't fall nearly as far as Hillary. Trump falls about 2%. Hillary falls between 4 and 6%. And so I think he might be pushing out the TPP because it is really, surprisingly, millennials don't like the TPP idea, and they really don't like NAFTA.
Well, millennials don't know anything about NAFTA at all. They haven't lived under it. I mean, their parents
They're living under it now.
Their parents had, well, yeah, but they're not losing manufacturing jobs under NAFTA. And there's and the claim
because
that
they've already left.
Well, they left 25 years ago. But most of these millennials were kids at the time, and I mean, I don't. Probably not growing up in desperate poverty necessarily.
I would agree.
You know what I'm saying? Active millennial voters are not poverty-stricken folks that have to work for a living. And man, I'm going to get away. I'm going to go away.
So stop and go.
I'm going to get away from that because I don't need.
Because I've been there before.
Well, and I also don't need to go attacking people that I don't know. So, I guess my point is, beating the trade drum is going to. You got to figure out a way to expand your reach into people that kind of agree with free trade. You're undecided. There are still a lot of undecided Republicans out there who are probably going to vote for Trump, but you're going to have to talk him into it. He's going to have to talk them into it, or they're going to stay home. They're not going to vote for Hillary. And so getting out there and saying we're going to throw these tariffs at people and force companies back to the country somehow.
Yeah, because tariffs don't work.
Tariffs don't work.
Tariffs do not work. It doesn't matter what you do. Two, I think he'd have been better served by going, well, hold on, we can't force anybody to come back.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
But
we can certainly entice them to come back through and then lay out a plan.
And just when he was getting the ball rolling, then she hits him with a loan from your dad and not paying your workers and having all those business problems, and then getting into his tax returns where he said, "I am smart for not paying taxes." The housing crisis, being okay with the housing crisis so I could buy property, that's just doing business. Those were the two big things. If you're going to talk about Hillary missing an opportunity, Barack Obama would have nailed him on the housing crisis comment. That's doing business, and Barack Obama would have said something along the lines of, "Well, that's not the business. That's not doing business for the American people." Like just some kind of would have nailed him on that, and that would have left him even more flustered and gotten him more angry and had him interrupt more. So she did miss, but those were two kind of small things. I don't think tipped the scales at all.
I would agree with that.
But he went off. Every time he got a little bit of momentum behind him, she would trip him up, and he would take that bait and run with it and just devolve into a sputtering mess. It was a pretty masterful performance.
Well, I will tell you, I think I agree with you. Hillary Clinton missed some opportunities. However, like we were talking about during the break, I think that she let a lot of stuff go just because she thought, I'm going to give him so much rope.
Yep.
And I think that was a strategy that worked well for her.
I think so too.
Part of the problem is with the business debate, I agree with that analysis. He got tripped up. He could very easily have said, well, you didn't pay your fair share of taxes. Hold on. I paid exactly what the government said I should pay. That's his answer. Well, you didn't pay your fair share of taxes. I paid exactly what the government told me to pay. Well, that's manipulating the system. Yes, that's smart. That's what you do.
Yeah, but that's not what he said.
No, but and that's why I'm saying, our computer. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah,
I mean, I agree with that. We're up against another break. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. We couldn't do what we do without you. We want to thank all of our sponsors: Des Moines Anesthesia, 515-574-6442, Halo Capital, Labinas Law Firm, and Bertrosian Associates. We'll be back right after these messages.